Forehand advice for recreational players, part 2 of the rhythm. Now, in the first video, we did the closed stance, making those 8s, where normally I would start in the open position, but there is a difference in the timing of shifting the weight. And it's easier to practice that in the closed stance than in the open stance. But I will explain it when we go to the part of the open stance. I will explain it better. Now, we will do it again from the closed stance, but now we have to make a step. And we will do the same exercises of the first video. So you can do it with both hands, you can do it with one hand, you can have low contacts, mid contacts and high contacts. So I will go faster through this video. Now we will do it in 2 ways with the ball. A ball with a bounce, like this, and a ball without the bounce, okay? So there are 2 new things in this video. Is the bounce will tell you when to start your stroke, when you have to turn, bounce and turn. And we also have the step. So you will see that the last step that we make, we in this case step in the other part it will be the open position, the step out. But the last step always happens after the bounce of the ball. That's why you can have bounce and turn, step, shifting the weight, throw the racket and finish. This is the difference between the first. So you have to look for the bounce and you have to step in and then you start to transfer the weight. So we will start with both arms. So we start in the open position so that we are able to step in towards the ball. So we have bounce and turn, bounce and turn, that's the indication, that's our timing. Then we have bounce and turn, step in and shift the weight. So we have bounce and turn, step in and shift the weight. So bounce and turn, step in, shift the weight. And then we know the throw and the finish we have from the former video. So we start in that open position. Bounce and turn, step in, yeah. Transfer the weight and throw and finish. And you can have the lower contacts, no problem. You can have the mid-high contacts, bounce and turn, step in, transfer the weight. And you can have the high contacts, shift. But the high contacts, remember, is touch and finish, focusing on the bending of the arm. So you can do the same exercises as in the first video with both or with one, okay? But focus on the bounce, the turn, step in, transfer the weight, throw the racket and finish. And then you try to do the same, which can be a little more difficult, but it should not be a big problem. So the bounce of the ball will now become the toss of the ball. So you will toss and turn, you will toss and turn, and then toss and turn, step and transfer, toss and turn, step, transfer, throw and finish, like this. Yeah. And you can do that again if you want with both arms. Yeah. So you toss, you turn with both, step in, transfer the weight, toss and turn, up, yeah. Toss and turn, step in, transfer the weight. And also here you have the lower contact, you have the mid contacts, yeah, and you have the high contacts, where you're just focusing on touch and finish. So with the bounce and without the bounce, yeah. Bounce and turn, step in, shift, throw and finish. So the second part, open position, and this is a little different because a lot of people, they start to shift the weight or they start to turn too early and their body goes away from contact and they miss-hit a lot, they shank a lot of balls. And the difference is when you step in and you transfer the weight, you transfer the weight towards the ball. When you have an open stance and you would shift your weight, you're no longer positioned on the ball you were supposed to play. So if I'm in that position, I'm supposed to play this ball. But if I'm going to shift my weight, I'm not more at the same spot. So you are here and you have to make here corrections, and this is where it goes wrong. So the most important part when you play the open stance is you have to make contact on the right leg, on the outside leg, like this. Bounce and turn, but I hit before I shift. That's a big difference. Step in, shift before contact, open position, shift at or after contact, because you can use your legs a little bit to push up, to initiate that turn a little faster. But you will transfer the weight after contact, let's say, okay? So also here we have the bounce and turn, step, and now we have throw and shift the weight with the finish. Okay? We have bounce and turn, step, bounce and turn, step and throw, and now I will turn. So the moment I touch the ball, I will turn, shifting my weight and finishing my stroke. So we have bounce and turn, step, throw, shift and finish. Bounce and turn, I'm on my right leg, and now we will do. So in the beginning, start a few times, feeling that you're making contact on that leg because you're positioned for that ball. And if you would transfer too early, you have to make corrections here while you're shifting your weight, which will give you problems. So this one is a little more difficult, but once you get the grip of playing and turning, I ask my students in open position, touch and turn. And so I ask them to touch and turn, and touch and turn, and touch and turn. So bounce and turn, step, touch and turn, okay? Some words are the same, but once you know the sequence of it, bounce, pop at that leg, and then you shift. And again, you can do it without the bounce, pop, pop. So try to feel that you touch and then you turn with the same exercises of the former, with bounce, without the bounce, low contact, mid contact, high contact. So I hope it was clear the difference between stepping in, shifting the weight before contact, and open position, making contact and then shifting the weight. So I will also make a third video. I said only 2, but I will make 3, where I'm going to play and they will feed me the balls so that you can see the rhythm, the timing of the bounce and turn, step and finish. Same bounce and turn, step, touch, and then you finish. So let's also check out the third video.